Hey guys, just a bit of an update. I've just had some parts arrive, so I wanted to touch base on the Subaru side of things. Long story short, I've been waiting for a little while for some parts to turn up regarding the fly-by-wire. Now, a couple of weeks ago I had this show up from Tarks, or EFI Solutions I think it is. So this is the adapter that goes onto the fly-by-wire throttle body. Bolts. And then this guy here I ordered from Aeroflow, just because I could have bought the adapter from Tarks, but I wasn't happy with their design. This is a far better design for welding, so I got this from Stealth Ride in Wellington. So yeah, I've got these two been sitting on my desk for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I've actually been waiting for the last piece to arrive, which is this guy. So this is the This is the 82mm fly-by-wire throttle body that I've been waiting for. It's been out of stock, so it's just arrived this morning. So now I can go and put this on the car, put the adapters and everything on the car, get that side of things all buttoned up and basically sealed off. Hey guys, back again, and just a little bit of an update with some bits and pieces. The parts I've been waiting for, the fly-by-wire, have just turned up, so, or the last part should I say. So I just wanted to give you a bit of a rundown on what's what. First of all, these bits here, this is the Tarks fly-by-wire adapter that bolts onto the throttle body, some O-rings and stuff like that that are ready to go on. Now, I could have gone and bought the weld-on adapter from these guys too, but I wasn't really happy with their design. I just didn't feel that there was enough meat to be able to weld on. There might be holes, it might warp and all that sort of stuff. So, with that in mind, I went on a Stealth Ride and I ordered this. So Stealth Ride's a New Zealand company. They do lots of Aeroflow stuff and other bits and pieces. We're starting to use these guys more and more. Yeah, anyway, so I've got this weld-on adapter. So this will probably weld onto the FC throttle body or my existing adapter. I'm not really sure which way. It just depends on clearance and what it needs and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, anyway, onto the crown jewel. We have this guy. So this is a genuine Bosch 82mm throttle body. This is the piece I've been waiting on. It's been out of stock. Now I can go and chuckle this on the motor, and then we can complete that last piece of the intercooler piping, put the blow-off valve on it, and essentially seal the engine and intercooler system up. And that way we can start to move on the other side of things. So we do have some heavy fab stuff left to go, like the exhaust and bits and pieces. We're not sure what we're doing the fuel tank yet, and there may be an element of making some reservoirs and stuff for the water to air cooler in the back of the car, mounting things like batteries and all that sort of stuff. But it's all sort of like, this is coming down to the little stuff now. But yeah, once all that stuff's done, I can actually start to wire the vehicle. So we've got to do an engine harness, but we also need to do a body harness too. It's a road race car, so it's going to have like indicators and lights and all that sort of stuff, but simplify it if I can. Yeah, but anyway, now that I've got this, I can go on to doing that and getting everything else underway. So, actually I've also got a gearbox guy that's going to help us out. So I need to get my gearbox stuff down to him to see what's missing, what's broken, what needs to be replaced, and then I can pull the box out of the car and maybe look at assembling the motor. I just need to get a few more bits and pieces for that, and then I can start looking at putting that together soon too. So all in all, I think it's coming together. Fingers crossed it'll maybe be running by the end of the year, maybe able to get it to reunion. That would be cool if I can do that, but we'll just see how we go. Anyway, let's get into doing the fly-by-wire pedal. That's up next. I've already done it. It's all looking good, but let's go see how I did it. Okay, so moving on from the other night, I need some extra parts. So what I need for the Subaru is a fly-by-wire pedal. Now, I don't know if any of the modern Subarus are going to fit, but there are some models that have a fly-by-wire pedal, and rather than buying brand new, which will be roughly, I'm guessing, between $400 and $500 or so, I figured maybe I can get one second hand. So I've popped down to Pick Apart, which is, you know, a little bit down the road for us, and I thought I'd go have a rummage through some of the Subarus here. I've got some tools, and I've got the old pedal box, and I figured I will see what I can find. So anyway, let's go have a look inside the yard. Okay, here we go. This is a, oh shit, what year is this? Ah, retro's gone. It's 2010 or something like that. Let's see if it's got what we've got. What we need, sorry. Okay, just gonna put my tools down. Oh yes, that's fly-by-wire. Perfect. Okay, now it does look different to mine, but I think that'll be okay. So let's just get my tools out. Open that up. It'll be 12s. Yep. 12s, little extension, and then good luck. Can you see up into there? You probably can't. Anyway, let's pull this off and have a look. Keep these nuts because the one on my car are 13s and that does my head in. Cool. Alrighty. Oh, you know what I didn't bring? I didn't bring any cutters. So, okay, so this is the pedal. As you can see, it's a wee different to this, but I reckon it's a bit different, but with a bit of finagling, sorry, I reckon I can get this to fit. So I'm going to go and see if someone else has got some pliers, and I'll just cut that plug off so I can take that with me. Yeah, a good effort, and we'll go and see how much it's going to cost us. Okay, got it out. So we'll have a better look at this when I get back to the car or the shop, but first things first, let's leave here. Alright, so back in the car, just about to head back to work. This is the pedal, so this is exactly what I need, and I got a bit of a tail of a wiring loom as well. So what do we got here? A pedal accelerator, $48 from Pick Apart. So if you've got the time, Pick Apart is obviously the way to go. Like I said, I've just saved myself, I'm guessing, around $500 for this pedal, and it will allow me to go and install this in the car with a bit of modification, because it's not just going to bolt straight in. But yeah, I don't think it's going to take much to fit. Now, I did exactly the same thing on the Skyline. I think for mine I used a Nissan part, which I did buy new, but I just modified the angle of the pedal, and it worked perfectly and bolted straight in. So the only thing I needed to change was the pedal rod, which I'm confident in being able to do that. Yeah, but anyway, I need to get back to work, so we'll leave it at that, and we'll see you back at the Subaru when we're trying to put it in. What are we doing tonight? I'm going to try and faff around and convert this pedal box to fly-by-wire. So bear with me while I try and make that happen, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I'm down in the fab room and I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So I think it's a good idea to just show you what I'm trying to achieve and then try and make a plan from there. So let's figure this out. Right, so this is the factory pedal box out of my GC8. This is the same one that I took to Pick Apart the other day to try and get the fly-by-wire pedal, which is here. Now, I needed to make this pedal here fit on here and have the same pedal position. So that's going to take a bit of messing around to try and get it to work. So my idea with doing this is I'm thinking of making a jig that holds that pedal in that position, just because it's a boltable pattern, and then I can probably just fold up some steel that comes out and then follows that line up to there. Now, what I want to do is, or what I think is a good idea, is I'm going to get some steel or something, and have it so it bolts to this structure. I think that's possibly the best idea, mainly because I'm guessing this part here, what this pedal assembly attaches to, is going to have to come off. So there's two things that needs to happen. One is I need to have a support that I can bolt this to. Two is this guy needs to stay here as well, because that bolts to the bulkhead of the firewall also. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts. So once I come off here, I think it's going to be easier to mimic the position of this pedal at rest. So obviously I don't want it to move. I don't want the pedal to be repositioned. I want it to be where it is at rest. So this one here at rest, it's on a different angle, it's on a different plane, but it's also, oh, you can't see it, it's on a different angle, different plane. So this is going to have to move over, and I'm hoping that I can replicate everything in place. So we've got two things I need to do. First of all, I need to make a structure that I can, that I can put down or strap into the vise or something like that that's going to support this. Secondary, I need to be able to support this. So if I need to remove this in its entirety, I've got the bolt pattern here for this guy, so I can just basically chuck a bolt in it, or a new plate, or whatever that looks like. Thirdly, I need to support this accelerator pedal position at rest, which is where it is at the moment. It's not up there. This is where it naturally wants to sit back down. So when you put your foot on it, it just lifts it up like that, right? So that's absolutely at rest. So I think first thing that I need to do is create the structure, and that may be just a metal plate that goes across here. It may be a metal plate that also comes up here and then comes up here, and I try to support, sorry, I'm trying to show you a wide field of vision here. So yeah, it'll come off the bottom here, probably come across. If I make it out of 3mm aluminium, then I can probably, steel, I can get it to come all the way out here without flexing too much. I could also maybe look at supporting it or something like that so that it can't really flex. But if I do it 3mm, I don't think it's going to move enough to be a problem. And then I can come off here with, I don't know, a piece of 5mm or whatever I've got lying around to mimic that point. And then again, coming off here is going to be the tricky part. So I need to be able to support this in a way that if I move this jig around, because we're making a jig here, it's not going to disturb here. But it also needs to be flexible enough so that when I go and put this guy on, it's going to sit in exactly the right position. So there's two options here. One, I'm thinking of doing some sort of claw. So imagine that, I'll turn it up that way, a bit easier. So imagine I have a piece of metal that comes and clips on the end there, and another one clips over the top. So essentially it's going like this, right? If I do that, the thing I can see as being an issue is this is a slightly different design underneath the pedal, so the claw would have to be different. So with that being said, I think that I'm going to have to essentially mimic the pad position. So that would be a plate that sits on top of here, and maybe that bolts to the position of where that sits. The other thing is it's a considerably different shape. So I'm going to have to get creative with that guy, but overall the length of it seems to be about the same. So I'm not really too fussed about how that's going to sit in terms of like, if I just make it so that this part's roughly in the middle. So what I'll do is I'll just do some brainstorming and out off camera and see what I can come up with, and then hopefully I can come up with a good idea that I think will work, and then I'll just roll with that. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I've got a loose plan. I've got some 3mm plate here. I think the first thing I need to do is drill these 4 holes, and then I've also got some of the scrap metal that I've got lying around here. Now I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and drill a hole where that wants to sit happily, and then just weld that to there. But then I'm thinking I might also kick that up. If I could just bend that up here. So from that bolting point, I'll kick it up so it nuzzles in beside here, but with keeping in mind that this is a different angle to the original one, so I may need a little bit more clearance. So my idea, loose idea at this point, is to cradle this guy here, and then with a secondary piece of steel, I'll cut that on an angle, and that'll come up and just guide that along the side there. That should be enough to hold everything in place. And then I can make a cap for it as well, so that when I go and when I cap the top of it, that this pedal is supported through the middle. I'm not really worried about the edges as long as it's sitting even. So I think that's a reasonably easy thing to do. And then I can figure out a way to sort of support this when it goes back in this guy's place. So as you can see, the angles, you can't really see that at all, keep changing this guy. The angles are slightly different. I'm not really sure what hurdles I'm going to find getting this all to fit, but that's the beauty of chucking this stuff in to see what fits and what doesn't. Let's go ahead and get some holes drilled and get this started so it's solid and supported, and then we can figure out a solution from there. If I need to get a different pedal, it is what it is. We'll figure that out shortly. I will go check in between drilling these holes just to make sure that everything's going to clear. So, I think I've got a plan. I was going to use this 5mm plate, but it's kind of like unnecessary, and I think I found a really simple solution for getting this all worked out. So, seeing as there's not any like real weight bearing on this, I think what I'm going to do is use some 3mm plate, and I'm just going to put a fold at each end that goes like this, and it will encompass that pedal, and then I can probably just like something as simple as cable tying the pedal in place, because the top piece is all that I care about at this point. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll just measure the length of that, and then I'll put 2 folds in this plate here, so that when I sit that on, it will stop the pedal from moving forward and back, and then I can literally just put a cable tie on each end, and that'll hold that pedal where it wants to sit. Now this guy doesn't move anything like this one does, so I can actually take that and, where is it, if I can go like that, see if I can move that there. This guy doesn't do that, at least, no, it can't do that, so it's fixed. So that's actually going to make my life easier. So as long as I've got this pivoting in the central position and that's fixed, I can then basically just go and cut this off, and I can replicate this bolt pattern because we know that that's in the right place, or I can cut away that and I can leave that there and weld something to it. But without getting too much into it, let's just see how that's going to work. I think it'll work out. I think it will work out. But there's only one way to find out. So let's get choppy. I went and folded this piece up, and that's going to fit over here nice and snug, and then I'm going to go ahead, support that. That's going to sit on that pedal, and then I'll weld it onto there. Like I said, I don't think it's going to need any more supports. However, I could just run a piece of steel across there, i.e. the piece that I cut off. Let's go grab that. So if I grab that guy, and I could just run that along there, for example, if I wanted to, and that will be enough of a support, or any other offcut that will sit roughly there. So now, before you go ahead and finalize something, you've always got to make sure that you've got enough clearance for things. And I've just checked the pedal and I've figured out that it's going to need some clearancing. So I'll just position the camera. And so obviously this guy fits over there nice. But if I put that guy, see, it's hitting there, and it's also got a bit of a space. So I'm just going to have to notch that. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that piece right off through there, because it's hitting there as well, which is putting off putting it down. So yeah, let's go do that. Okay, so now that goes on there, and if I check that, that also goes on there. Now, as you can see, it's going to rock around, but I believe once I get this all cable tied together, it's going to be relatively strong, or at least strong enough to be able to do its thing. Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do here, and hopefully it's not too much of a headache. I'm pretty confident this is going to be happy where that is. I'm reasonably confident that when I go and put that pedal on, I've actually got the position of the pedal lined up, so the pedal actually doesn't sit square. So I've got that edge sitting along where the pedal wants to sit. Now I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to cut some parts off, which is a little bit unnerving. It's because once you cut it, you can't go back. But I think, you know, we're pretty clear on where that needs to be. I'll just take some reference photos before I start cutting. But realistically, I have to start cutting because that's the natural next step. So, I'm gonna go do that. So, here is our first issue. This guy here needs to sit about here, right? And that wants to sit in about there. And as you can see, there's a bit going on. Over here, it's hanging over the edge considerably. And the pedal's not 100% flat, but we can fix that. I'll just position you there. So you see that pedal wants to sit about there, but it's right in the way of that bolt hole. So not really much I can do about that. It just wants to sit where it wants to sit. However, that's going to make things damn near impossible for me to get around, unless if I mount this plate so that this actually is removable with the plate rather than welding the plate 100% to this armature, it might actually work okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build it so that the pedal sits about there on some 3mm plate, because I think I've got some of that lying around, and then I will have it so it bolts to this section here, because we don't need this anymore. So let's get rid of that. I'll just go stop, pull you out, yeah, bye bye. Right, we don't need this guy anymore, so let's cut that off. There we go. Someone's calling me. Okay, so my plan. This pedal wants to sit in here, and I will shortly go and get some cable ties. Okay, now looking at the angle of that, it wants to sit about there. Alright, now that gives me about 3mm to play with. I can have a plate that comes down and bolts onto here. Okay, quick little snippet before my battery runs out and I have to go get another one. I found a piece of card that I'm just going to use as my rough template. I've already traced around the pedal. I've already positioned the pedal roughly where I think it needs to be, and I've checked it roughly with the brake pedal also. Hey, so I've been a busy little beaver while the battery's been charging, and I managed to get quite a bit done. It's not 100% yet, but it's pretty close for what it is. So I guess I better show you what I've done. So I've made the plate. Now I have drilled this hole here a little bit too far down, so I have to notch that out. The idea behind this is there's a little platform under there, and that's just going to sit on top of there. And then this guy here. Now I've got two options. I can make this all boltable, or I can just weld it on for good. It doesn't really matter either way. Once it's in, I guess if it's welded, it's going to be stronger, right? But accessibility and all that sort of stuff. Now I do need to notch this guy, and if I'm going to draw this for later, I will need to make that hole correct, but that's not a major. And then over this side you'll see I've actually made a support. Now I was going to use the original bolt hole or do something with that, but I figured this is just going to be an easier, quicker way to fix that that problem I had. And then I just need to trim a little bit up on it. Now the next pedal that I do, I'll probably take a little bit more care. Prototyping, sometimes it's just a little bit rip shit and bust so you can get it done, and then the next revision you sort of refine it a little bit more and that sort of thing. So, but as you can see, this is going to be plenty strong enough to hold that in. So my idea is that I'm going to take this plate and weld it to the original bracket, and that way it'll sit up nice and tight. It's unboltable. This guy here, I've got to drill a hole through the middle here. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to actually clamp that in position, and then I'm just going to get a drill to center that, and then I'm just going to simply just weld a nut on the underside of that. So I don't have to worry about that hole that's already drilled. If you can see that, I don't have to worry about that side of the hole there. My new drill will just go straight through there, and then I'll just weld a nut on the underside, and then fingers crossed, tickety-boo, this will do its job. So I'm not far away from actually finalizing everything and then chucking it in the car. Admittedly, I haven't checked the car this evening because it's pissing down with rain outside, so I don't really feel like going out and getting drenched tonight just to see if the pedal box will fit. But it doesn't matter because this is an exercise to see, making a jig. So I've got the jig. I can figure that out later. If I need to use another pedal, then I can reposition everything and hopefully make it work from there. But this is looking pretty good, providing that I got space for the steering column to go through. But basically where I'm at is I've got to drill one more hole. I've got to linish up the little mounting side bracket, and then I can actually weld it all together. So I'm going to go ahead and get that prepared now. All right. Oh geez, it's 8:30. I need to finish. I've just done my last tack. I'm gonna release the cable ties and see if it is still happy. Oh look, still happy, I think. Happy-ish. Now the next thing's going to be getting it out of this jig. So let's see if I can do that. Okay. Oh wow, look. Look at that. We have, from what I can gather, a fly-by-wire setup. Now, like I said, I've got to fix that because I can't actually get like a tool in there, so I have to make that oval. I have to oval that hole, and then if I draw this, I'll just fix it up later. Here, I just have to clean up that a little bit and then put some welds across there. If you can see that, so I'll clean up the edge there and then put some welds in. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then weld that on, and that'll be done. Yeah, and I think I'm pretty happy with that. Like it's not going to be any less solid than it was before. Yeah, I think overall, good night's work, good effort. So yeah, all right, well, put that there. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to finish up here, and then tomorrow I'll go and put it in the car and see if it fits. Like I said, I'm a little bit concerned that it might hit the steering column, but it might just clear fine, it might be okay. Yeah, silly me for not checking before, but I also just wanted to do this to see how hard it would be, and realistically it's only taken me a couple of hours, like 2 to 2.5 hours to do all this, you know, from start to finish, so, you know, it's not too bad. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'll try it in the car tomorrow, and then we'll see how it fits, if it fits at all. And then we can make adjustments from there. So yeah, anyway, I will leave you at that for now. I'm gonna go clean this up real quick, get it welded so it's ready to go for tomorrow. But yeah, let's come back in the morning and see what we find. All right, the moment of truth to see whether or not this pedal box fits in the car. Hopefully I haven't messed up. It's tight. It's looking promising. Looking very promising. Boom. I'd accept that. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, good. A little bit. If I can just get that brake booster to sit properly, that'd be great. Which it won't because it's sitting funny. But anyway, as you can see, nailed it. I'll go get that bolted in out of off camera, and that'll be pretty much us done for that portion. But I'm pretty stoked with that. And now I can actually, if I want, I can make a jig off that. Maybe get another pedal, make it a little bit nicer, and maybe make a template off that so that I get all my cut lines and everything the same. So yeah, if anyone's watching this and wants a GC8 to fly-by-wire conversion done, let me know and I'll see what I can do for you. Okay, before I go, there is one thing that I've just found with this setup that I may need to change, and I think I can get away with just spacing it out maybe a little bit. So with this in, I can use the pedal. However, I don't think I'm getting maximum throw in the pedal because it's hitting the floor. So I've got two options. I can either space the pedal out another 10mm, because this brake pedal will most likely sit about there anyway. And looking at that, I do have about 10mm I can come out if I want to, so I can actually space the pedal upwards. So that would just be as simple as getting a couple of 10mm spaces, or sitting the whole pedal out another 10mm, but that means re-engineering that bracket. But yeah, let me figure that out. And but overall, I think it's a pretty good starting point. The whole idea behind doing stuff like this is figuring out what works and what doesn't. But yeah, you definitely want to have that 100% throttle. Currently I'm probably getting, I don't know, what's that, that's probably 80%, I'm guessing. There's a little bit more to go. Yeah, but anyway, that's enough for now. Catch you soon, and we'll figure this out later.